Have you ever been playing and enjoying a game just to suddenly enter a mission that is so boring you immediately turn it off? Well, you're not alone. There are many examples of bad missions in gaming history. Whether they were out of place for the given game, had terrible controls, or were just straight up boring, there always seem to be some not so great missions even in great games. Now let me walk you through some of my most hated video game missions that I have ever played. Contrary to the popular opinion, I don't actually hate this mission because of its difficulty. I know it gives many players a hard time, and there are many guides to help them. Me, I personally do enjoy racing games. I am a big fan of Trackmania and Need for Speed, so it wasn't that aspect for me. My problem with this mission is that it's kinda out of place. Don't get me wrong, the race is difficult, especially for a story game, but I do like a little bit of challenge. The problem is, Mafia takes most of its time teaching you and improving your shooting skills, with some basic car chases in the mix. This mission comes, gameplay-wise speaking, out of nowhere. While it of course does make sense narratively, that much you can expect from a game like Mafia, when you get to it, you might feel unprepared for such a challenging race with no real practice. This really shows that even a greatly thought out game like Mafia can have some bad game design hidden in it. I have been playing GTA games since forever, and even though Vice City is almost older than me, it actually holds a dear place in my heart. Since I am from a post-Soviet bloc country, games took a bit longer to actually get here. That's how this game ended up being my childhood. But one mission I have not finished until revisiting the game some years later was the Demolition Man. Now, the idea doesn't sound too bad on paper. Plant some explosives on a construction site using a remote-controlled helicopter. But the execution is where it all falls apart. The time limit was quite unforgiving, and the bombs had to be placed very precisely, but the controls were incredibly clunky and difficult to get a feel for. The helicopter would always oversteer no matter what you did. Coming back to it now, it's definitely a possible mission, but still a very frustrating one to complete. Now, for GTA San Andreas, I could have went with the wrong side of the tracks mission. From an annoying shootout to a frustrating train chase, it had it all. But for me, I like to look back on that mission and laugh at the funny moments. However, I cannot say that for supply lines. Just like in Vice City, this mission involves remote-controlled flying. This time, you are controlling an RC plane, and your mission is to destroy some vans around the city. If you think they can't make it that bad a second time, you would be wrong. There are a couple of reasons that supply lines is so difficult. The controls are once again incredibly hard to get a hold of, the strict time limit is still there, and on top of that, now you have a bunch of enemies in the vans that try to destroy your plane. Rockstar has even changed this mission multiple times, as they are fully aware of how bad it can be. But the last time I played it, which to be fair was around 2020, it was still as difficult and annoying as ever. I had a very hard time picking between the Midnight Ride and Hell on Wheels, and both definitely deserve a mention here, but in the end, I decided to go with Paul Revera's Ride. Not because of frustrating difficulty or clunky mechanics, that's what Hell on Wheels is known for. This mission is not especially difficult in comparison, but damn, Paul refuses to shut up for the entire time. I don't think you can really understand how annoying it is until you try it yourself.
I believe we are on course. This way, Connor! This way, Connor! Go left up here. To the right, Connor! To the right!
Your job is just to go from place to warn people, with him giving you the directions. But he will keep on talking, and at some points you might as well mute the game and have a bit more fun actually playing. I am a big fan of Just Cause 3, but even I can't deny that it had some weird moments at times. And Abandoned Ship is probably the best example of that. This mission is Rico fighting waves on waves of enemies, having to protect the EMP and Mario at the same time. This is nothing new, quite a typical last stand mission in video games. What makes it so notorious in my mind is the fact that Mario is standing still in the open with a shotgun. He's basically asking to die. He's looking like Trevor out there, completely insane. Escort and protect missions are usually frowned upon, which I don't always agree with, since these missions can be done well, but this is truly pushing it a bit too far. The mission wasn't too difficult for me, but it was really frustrating, having to keep an eye out on your insane friend and beating hordes of enemies at the same time. In conclusion, there are many poorly designed missions throughout all games. These were some of the ones I disliked the most. Oh, and one more honorable mention can go to Spider-Man's MJ missions, not because they are particularly bad, but because I am playing the game to be Spider-Man, not MJ. But that's just me nitpicking now. Let me know if you also found these missions as bad as me, and if not, which ones do you hate the most? Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.
I believe we are on course. This way, Connor! This way, Connor! Go left up here. This way, Connor! This way, Connor! This way, Connor! To the right, Connor! To the right!